You handed money to a stranger today, maybe for coffee, maybe for food, maybe for a ride. You gave them something valuable, expected something valuable back, and probably never considered the possibility that they would simply take your money and walk away. But now remove everything that makes that exchange feel safe. No money, no shop, no police, no receipt, no reviews, no bank, no written contract, no guarantee that the person standing in front of you will ever see you again. Now there are only two humans, one valuable object, and a question that may be far older than civilization. Can I trust you? Because long before humans could trade, they first had to become the kind of animal capable of trusting, remembering, cooperating, and exchanging things with people beyond their immediate family. And by hundreds of thousands of years ago, archaeology begins giving us clues that humans were already solving parts of that problem. One of those clues is black volcanic glass, obsidian. At Olorgesailie, in what is now Kenya, archaeologists discovered obsidian used by early humans roughly 300,000 years ago. There was one problem. Some of that obsidian did not come from nearby. Its chemical signature pointed to sources tens of kilometers away. No roads carried it, no carts, no domesticated pack animals, no map marked the route. Yet somehow, the stone moved, and that creates a mystery. Did people walk to the source themselves? Did another group carry it? Was it gifted? Was it exchanged? Was it passed from one community to another? We do not know. The chemistry survived. The conversations did not. The stone can tell us where it came from. It cannot tell us whose hand passed it to the next person. And that distinction matters, because long-distance movement does not automatically mean trade. A discovery published in 2026 from Jojosi in South Africa makes that even clearer. Across repeated episodes spanning roughly 110,000 years, early humans returned to the same source of hornfels, a stone useful for making tools. They quarried material there and carried it elsewhere. Again and again, across an enormous stretch of time. No marketplace was required. No trader had to be involved. Sometimes humans simply knew where valuable resources were and planned far enough ahead to go and get them. So perhaps the first question is not, when did humans invent trade? Perhaps it is, why would humans need trade in the first place? The answer begins with the landscape. Imagine a small group living somewhere in prehistoric Africa. They know their territory intimately. They know where animals cross a river, where fruit ripens, where water remains when the dry season comes, where a particular stone can be found, where useful plants grow. They are skilled. They are knowledgeable. But their world has a problem. Everything they need is scattered. Good stone exists in one place, water in another. Animals move. Plants appear seasonally. A resource that is abundant this month may disappear the next. And no single group controls everything. A patchy world rewards knowledge. But it rewards something else even more. Connections. If your group knows another group 50 kilometers away, suddenly your world becomes larger. Their stone can become your stone. Your food can become their food. Their information can become your information. But that creates a new problem. Having something another person wants is easy. Trusting them is harder. So before humans could build markets, they built relationships. Among the Juhoansi of the Kalahari, anthropologist Polly Wiesner documented a long-running exchange system known as hxaro. Hxaro is not simply barter. It is not, you give me this, I give you that, transaction finished. Instead, objects move between people across relationships that can last for years. A gift today does not necessarily demand an immediate return. The object keeps the relationship alive. The real value is not only in the arrow, tool, ornament, or other possession being exchanged. The value is in the connection. I gave to you. You remember. You gave to me. I remember. And if one of us needs help later, the relationship is still there. The transaction closes on a different kind of ledger. The ledger is human. And once exchange can stretch across time, another problem appears. Memory. Imagine giving away food during a good season. Months pass. Then your family struggles. Who helped whom? Who shared? Who refused? Who repeatedly took but never gave? Without writing, none of this exists in a database. It exists in people. In a sense, one of humanity's earliest forms of credit may have been memory. I helped you before. You remember. Others remember too. And that memory changes what happens the next time we meet. This is where reputation becomes powerful. Humans do not only remember what happens to themselves. We talk about what happens to other people. Who was generous? Who cheated? Who could be trusted? Who caused trouble? Gossip sounds trivial today. In a small prehistoric community, it could have been infrastructure, because reputation allows trust to travel farther than direct experience. You do not personally need to have been cheated by someone if 3 people you trust warn you first. And humans developed another way of making social rules portable: stories. In research among Agta hunter-gatherers in the Philippines, researchers found that skilled storytellers were valued social partners, while traditional stories frequently carried themes involving cooperation, generosity, and social behavior. Stories were more than entertainment. They could act almost like an operating system for social life. They told people what kind of behavior mattered. Memory told people who had followed the rules. Reputation told people who might be safe to deal with. And once humans could carry social information from one person to another, trust no longer had to begin from zero every time 2 groups met. But humans were also doing something else. They were giving objects meaning beyond simple usefulness. At Bismoon Cave in Morocco, archaeologists recovered perforated marine shells dating back at least around 102,000 years. They were beads, ornaments, objects that could not cut meat, could not kill an animal, could not keep someone warm. Their value came from something else, meaning. We cannot know exactly what every bead meant to the person who wore it. Identity, status, group membership, connection, perhaps several of these things. But an ornament only works as a social signal if another human understands that signal. That is important, because now an object can possess value beyond what it physically does. A stone can cut, food can feed, but a bead can say something about who you are, where you belong, who you know. And once objects carry shared meaning, exchange becomes even more interesting, because humans are no longer moving only useful materials, they are moving symbols, relationships, identity, information. We cannot reconstruct the first moment one unknown person deliberately exchanged an object with another. That moment left no receipt, no contract, no witness statement. But we can imagine the problem they faced. Picture a person approaching another group's camp. In one hand is an unusual piece of stone. The sun is falling. Smoke rises from a fire. Children stop what they are doing. Someone notices the stranger. The stranger holds the stone where everyone can see it. No one calls him a seller. No one calls the other person a buyer. Those words do not exist. There is simply a valuable object, an unfamiliar face, and uncertainty. Does this group know mine? Have our people met before? Did someone tell me they were trustworthy? Did they share during the last dry season? Did they attack someone? Will taking this object create an obligation? Will offering something in return prevent conflict? Before trade can happen, there has to be some expectation about what another human will do next. That expectation is trust. And trust does not have to mean believing that strangers are kind. It can simply mean believing their behavior is predictable. That is still true when you buy coffee today. You think you are handing $6 to a stranger, but you are not really trusting only that person. You are trusting a system. A store, a company, a manager, a bank, a legal system, a reputation network, a payment system, a supply chain. The cashier is only the visible edge of an enormous invisible architecture. Remove that architecture, and suddenly the exchange becomes ancient again. One person, one object, one unknown face. One question: what will you do if I trust you? Modern experiments show how deeply expectations of fairness still shape exchange. In the ultimatum game, one person is given money and chooses how much to offer another person. Purely in financial terms, receiving something should be better than receiving nothing. Yet people sometimes reject extremely unfair offers even when rejection means both people lose money. Why? Because exchange is not only mathematics. Humans care about how they are treated. Fairness, reputation, respect, reciprocity. These forces sit underneath transactions that appear purely economic. Which brings us back to the original question: who invented trade? Probably no single person. There may never have been one morning when a prehistoric human woke up and invented the idea. Instead, trade could emerge because older abilities were already in place. Humans could remember valuable resources across landscapes. They could maintain relationships beyond immediate family. They could give now and receive later. They could remember obligation. They could track reputation. They could share stories about behavior. They could assign shared meaning to objects. And they could carry all of those things across social networks. Trade was not one invention. It was the result of many older human abilities converging, and over generations, occasional exchanges could become repeated ones. Repeated paths could become known routes. Known partners could become trusted partners. A gifted object could become an exchanged object. Some objects could become desirable, far beyond the places where they were made. Eventually, exchanges could happen between people who knew less and less about each other personally. And much later, humans would build institutions powerful enough to let complete strangers exchange value constantly. Which is why your coffee worked this morning. A stranger handed you heat, caffeine, and flavor. Another stranger, perhaps thousands of kilometers away, grew the beans. Another processed them. Another shipped them. Another roasted them. Another transported them. Someone manufactured the cup. Someone built the machine. Someone processed your payment. Most of these people do not know one another. None of them know you. And yet the entire system works because humans spent an extraordinary amount of their history building ways to cooperate beyond the people standing directly in front of them. The money is new. The coffee shop is new. The bank is new. The receipt is new. But the deeper machinery is ancient. Memory, reciprocity, reputation, shared meaning, trust. So when you hand value to a stranger and walk away believing they will give something back, you are participating in something far older than markets. Far older than money, possibly older than our species' entire recorded history. You are using a system whose earliest foundations may have been built around stone, gifts, stories, remembered favors, and fires shared with people who might otherwise have remained strangers. And somewhere underneath every modern transaction is still that ancient question, can I trust you? That's not a small thing. Because the world you live in now was built, one relationship at a time, by humans learning that sometimes the person beyond the next campfire was not only a stranger, they could also become a partner. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to BackTimes, hit the bell icon, and share this video with someone who loves history.